Hey guys, so in this video we're going to talk about the 10 reasons why building an email list is so important. Before we get started, there's a few things I want to go over. First of all, it's a combination of all these reasons that makes having an email list so valuable. So it's not any single reason, it's when you combine all of them, and that's what makes the email list so powerful. An email list is an amazing asset for anyone to have, if they're running a website, a blog, an online business, or a podcast. When building an email list, you want to think about the quality over the quantity, i.e. the number of people on your list isn't as important as the quality of the people on your list, but we'll discuss this a bit more later on. I highly recommend that you start building an email list as soon as possible. So let's get started with the first reason as to why building an email list is so important. Reason number one is that building an email list allows you to keep in contact with your audience. Imagine this scenario. Someone visits your website, loves your content, and shares it with their friends. That's great, right? But how do you get in contact with this person after they've left your website? Now imagine this scenario repeats over and over again, and you end up with people loving and sharing your content, but you have no way of letting them know when you post new content. This is where an email list comes into play. If people visit your website, love and share your content, then they'll be very interested and likely to sign up to your email list, especially if you have an attractive lead magnet. When these people are on your email list, you can easily email them whenever you post new content or have something to say. Therefore, an email list allows you to keep in contact with your audience. You might think that you can achieve the same results using social media, but the next reason will explain why an email list is so much more powerful. The second reason is that you control your email list. You can have a social media following in the form of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. However, you don't own any of these platforms and thus you have minimal control over them. Any of these social media platforms could change their terms and conditions, and the effect it has on you and your business could be drastic. While you don't own your email service provider, you can move your email list over to another ESP if there is any problems. In an ideal scenario, you would have a lot of these things in play, so you would have your social media following and your awesome email list. However, you have a lot more control over your email list than you do have over your social media accounts. Another reason as to why building an email list is so important for your online business is that email is very personal. When you post to your social media pages, everyone who follows you can see your posts, tweets or videos, unless you private message them of course. But when you email, that email goes directly into your audience's email inbox, and that makes it much more personal. Even if you send the same email to your entire email list using your email service provider, it still appears to be a personal email sent to an individual because it doesn't CC them like in a normal email. Having this personal touch can be very useful when trying to build a stronger relationship with your list and when you're trying to pitch a product to them. And this leads me to the next reason number 4. You can ask deeper questions when you have an email list. Because email is very personal, you can dig deeper and ask more personal questions in order to find out the pain points and struggles of your audience. With this information, you can create much better content that your audience actually wants and needs. Because your social media pages are public, people might not want to divulge personal details to them, but may be willing to give up more information in a private email. If you understand your audience, their struggles and their pain points, it will allow you to create solutions and add values to their lives by creating better content that actually helps them with what they actually need help with, which will lead to a trusting relationship and a more powerful email list. An email list allows you to do this much more effectively than social media does because it's more personal. Now moving on to the next reason number 5 is that you can sell products to your list. This is one of the most powerful reasons as to why building an email list is so important and so great. Imagine you created an awesome fitness plan that was super effective and worked like a magic pill. Who would you sell it to? If you posted it on the internet, who would actually see it? Even if they saw it, would they believe you and trust you? They would probably think it's a scam that is too good to be true. But what if you had an email list full of people who are interested in the health and fitness industry and wanted to lose weight and get in shape, but also liked and trusted you because you had built a relationship with them over time by providing them with free content via email? You would basically have a list of potential customers that could be interested in your product, and all you would have to do is pitch it to them. But without this email list, what would you have done? You wouldn't be able to pitch a product to anybody because if you put it online, nobody would believe you, nobody would trust you because you have no credibility, you have no relationship. You could do the same thing with multiple products as well. If you had multiple products to launch, it doesn't have to be health and fitness. That was just an example because it's such a big industry. So you can see now why having an email list allows you to launch your products, because people will trust you when you've built up that relationship with them over time. You're not just a random person trying to sell something. You're someone that they trust because you've helped them before, and now you're releasing a product, so they're automatically interested. Reason number 6 as to why having an email list is so powerful is that you can drive traffic to any page with an email list. I've started multiple blogs and created a lot of content in the past, but I didn't have the slightest idea of how to actually get people to visit my website and to read my content. I never had a list back then, and I basically just hoped that people would somehow find my websites and read my content. It was pretty naive, I know. But with an email list, you can basically drive traffic to any page that you want. All you have to do is email your list and include a link to the page that you want them to visit. It's not just your website either. You can drive traffic to other websites as well. This is all dependent on the relationship you have with your list, but we'll discuss this later on, so don't worry. The main thing to take away from this reason is that with an email list, you can drive traffic to any page. So whenever you post a new piece of content, you can be sure that if you email your list, there are going to be people that read it. Because the worst thing you want, or the last thing that you want, is to post new content and have nobody read it. But an email list helps you get rid of this problem. Reason number 7 is that you can make money with your email list. We spoke about selling your own products in reason number 5, but even if you don't have your own product yet, you can still monetize your email list in various ways. For example, in the previous reason, we spoke about how you could drive traffic to any page. And this means that you can basically drive traffic to an affiliate promotion and get paid commissions for being an affiliate. In other words, you're promoting someone else's product and getting paid a commission for every sale that you help them make. Another example could be that you charge people money to send an email to your list and talk about someone else's business, so ideally, you're promoting their business. There are many other ways that you can utilize in order to make money with your list, but the main thing I want you to take away is that with an email list, you can monetize it and make money from it. One of the more simple reasons as to why having an email list is so powerful is simply because people read their emails everywhere. How many times have you woken up and the first thing you've done is pick up your phone and check your email? I've been guilty of this a lot of times. People check their emails everywhere and anywhere, and because of this, you will always have an effective way to get in contact with your audience whenever you need to. It's a daily thing that people do. It's not like they'll check it every week, they check it daily. So whenever you send an email, you can be sure that people are going to see it. Whether or not they read it is another story. But this is one of the reasons why you should build an email list. Reason number 9 is that there will be an interest in what you are offering when you build an email list. The most common way to build an email list is to use a lead magnet. A lead magnet is something you give away in exchange for a person's name and email address. Examples of lead magnets could be an ebook, a short video, a printable, a PDF report, etc. The point is that when people sign up for your email list to get your lead magnet, then there's obviously a solid chance that they're interested in your niche and what you're offering, otherwise they wouldn't want your lead magnet. This means that they will probably be interested when you post new content or even when you launch a product. So when you build an email list, you're basically creating a list of people who are always going to be interested in what you're talking about, what you're posting in your niche and your expertise. So like I said, when you post new content, you don't just have to worry that people are going to find it on Google or via social media. You have an email list of people who are going to be interested and will most likely read your content. When you launch a course, you have someone to launch it to, and people who are going to be interested, not just random people. Right? We spoke about this before, but that's why an email list is so powerful, because there's always going to be an interest in what you're offering if people sign up for your email list. You might think that, okay, they've only signed up for a freebie, but you're also going to give them a lot of free content, and that builds a relationship of trust. So when you do launch a product that you sell to them, they'll be much more likely to purchase than if you were just to launch it to random people that they've never met you before. And now we've reached reason number 10, which is that you get to work with the big guns when you have an email list. When you have a solid and responsive email list, you'll open up opportunities to work with the big guns in your niche. These are the people that have more experience, that have a bigger list and a bigger audience than you currently have, and who have been around for longer. This is because your list can help you establish yourself as an up-and-coming authority in the niche, and you can leverage this when talking with the bigger people, the bigger authorities, the people who've been around longer. Working with the big guns will help you scale your business drastically due to the power of association. Even if you're a small gun and you've just gotten started out and you have a decent sized list, if you work with a lot of the big guns, people will start to see you as a big gun too. There are many ways to work with the big guns, such as guest posts, joint ventures, affiliate programs, interviews, etc. You might be up and coming, but you might be able to negotiate with them and tell them to come on your podcast or your channel or whatever you're doing, and you get to interview them and people are going to be interested in that. Your list gives you opportunities to work with the big guns, which can lead to exposure, and thus your business will scale. And now it's time for a bonus reason. The process of building an email list involves learning how to drive traffic to your website. It's pretty much impossible to build an email list without learning how to drive traffic, because at the end of the day, in order to build an email list, you need to get people to visit the webpage where you offer your lead magnet and have your form to capture the name and email address. In any business, online or offline, being able to get customers to view your products or to come into your shop is crucial to the success of your business. In the online world, it's all about getting people to visit the web pages that you want them to visit to. And this is basically what driving traffic is. Therefore, by learning how to build an email list, you're essentially learning how to drive traffic, i.e. get customers to your website, which is always going to be crucial to the success of your business. So as you can see, these skills are transferable. For example, let's say you run an e-commerce site where you sell different products, multiple different products of different sorts. Your main goal would be to get as many customers as possible to visit your online store, right? Once again, this is basically the process of driving traffic, which is something you learn whilst building an email list. FYI, there's no reason why you can't have an e-commerce site that also has an email list. It's very popular. A lot of big corporations do it. A lot of smaller ones do it as well. But the bonus reason is basically saying that When you're building an email list and going through the process, you're learning how to drive traffic. So even in the future, if you don't want to build an email list anymore, or for some reason email marketing dies out, you've still learned skills to drive people to your website, which is always going to be crucial because you're going to want people to get to your website to make purchases on your products. One really important thing I want to talk about before moving on and recapping is that when it comes to email list building, it's always about the quality over the quantity. It's better to have a list of 1,000 people who are super interested in you, your niche, and your content than it is to have 10,000 people who aren't interested. It's easy to have an email list of 10,000 people. All you have to do is manually enter 10,000 fake emails into your email service provider. Technically, you would have an email list of 10,000 people, but it would be absolutely worthless. The thing to take away is simple. When building your email list, don't get fixated on the number of people on your list. Focus on more on whether or not the people on your list are actually interested in what you're offering and whether or not you're building a solid relationship. A big part of this is where you get your traffic from, but we'll talk about that in another video. This doesn't mean you shouldn't track the number of people on your list. Just don't get fixated on it. Don't worry too much if your list isn't growing too much. Worry about the relationship you have with your list. People say that the money is in the list, but in truth, it's the relationship you have with your list. And there's your 10 reasons. Although technically it's like 11, I give you a bonus one. So there's your 11 reasons. Remember that it's the combination of all these reasons that makes having an email list so valuable. It's not any single reason. It's when you combine all of these together, and that's what makes it truly powerful. Start building your email list as soon as possible and don't delay it. There are different tools and software that you need to build an email list, and some are better than others. I'm going to give you the tools and software I use for list building. I've created a simple report that details all of the tools and software that I use for my list building efforts, which I think is very valuable. I don't want you to waste time using software and tools that don't work. You don't want to waste your time with crappy software and tools that aren't user-friendly and don't deliver what you need. Click the link in the description if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're on my blog, scroll to the bottom of the page to get access to the free report. So now get started with building your very own powerful email list, and I'll see you in the next video.